Let's focus on what is web app. Web app has multiple functionalities. We already know web app is a hosting platform and we can host different applications built by different framework and languages like ASP.NET, ASP.NET Core, Java, Ruby, Node.js, Python. Even we can run PowerShell and other scripts as a background service in web app. Second one is containerization and Docker. Containerization is a concept of packing things. Say, for example, we have a ASP.NET Core application, and in background we have a SQL Server. So we can pack these two things, I mean the web application and database, into a container, and we can carry that container to another server. We can deploy that would run as is. DevOps optimization. We can apply continuous integration and deployment for web app with GitHub, with Bucket or Docker Hub or Azure Container Registry. Global scale with high availability. We can scale up or scale out an application manually. For example, we have a ASP.NET Core web application. Due to some reason, there is heavy traffic on it, and this application is performing slowly. Now we have two options. Either we can scale up or we can scale out. Scale up means we can simply increase the resources. Resources means maybe the CPU or RAM we can increase so that it will perform better. The second option, scale out, means we can increase nodes. Instead of increasing resources, we can increase some virtual machines or we can increase the nodes, and we can deploy this application in the nodes. Using a load balancer, we can distribute the traffic into the nodes, and this is a kind of parallel execution, and that would increase the performance automatically. Authentication means how we are allowing one user to enter in our system. There are several way or several approaches to enable authentication. Will come later. Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code integration. Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code both are IDEs for developing applications in different platforms. I mean, maybe in .NET or Java or some other platform, Python. So we can build and we can host from this IDE to web app. There are supports for Java tool integration also, API and mobile features. For mobile, most of the time we are using REST APIs. So we can build REST APIs and host in web app, and we can use those REST APIs through mobile application. Serverless code, this is Azure function. So we can build a block of code and deploy it in web app, and we can use this block of code from several applications. App service plan. When we are developing a web app, we should have a app service plan. So web app is basically having app service plan and app service. What is app service plan? An app service plan defines a set of resources for a web app. Say for example, this is our app service plan. It can contain many web applications, maybe some static web applications as well. In a app service plan, we can host one or more web app or one or more static web app. In app service plan, we can select operating system if it is Windows or Linux. We can select the region. Region is not countries, denotes countries, but in a country we can have multiple regions. Say for example, US, we have West US, East US, and so on. So we need to select a region. Under a region, we can create app service. So we will select operating system, then region, then number of VM instances, how many virtual machine we need to create for this app service plan, and size of VM instances. That means these nodes or these VMs, what is the size of these VMs, whether it's a small, whether it's a medium or large. And for most of the Azure services, there are some pricing tier attached with it. We have to select a pricing tier, whether our app service is free. Shared means in a app service plan, it can have multiple web apps. It may be developed by us or it may be developed by someone other. Basic, then standard, then premium, and in premium there are some more variations like premium V2, V3, isolated V2. Let's see what's there in pricing tier. So we have three tier basically: shared, dedicated, and isolated. Shared means it's free and shared. That means we can have more app services or web app hosted on the same app service plan. Dedicated means it runs on a dedicated virtual machine. There are a few types available in dedicated: basic, standard, premium, premium V2, and premium V3. Isolated means having a dedicated virtual machine and dedicated virtual network. So if we compare all of this tier, so shared compute is the base tier, sharing same VM. I mean, there is a single virtual machine sharing multiple applications. Allocating CPU quota for each application. Resources cannot be scaled out. That means we cannot horizontally scale out the application having different nodes as we are using the same virtual machine. Dedicated compute that runs on dedicated Azure virtual machine. And we have their basic, standard, premium, premium V3, V2, V3. So where we are going to higher tiers, more number of VM instances we can use for scale out. Okay, if we go to premium V2 having more number of VMs available, we can select more number of VMs from premium. Isolated means it's completely isolated. So it is having dedicated Azure VMs and dedicated virtual network. That means it provides network isolation on top of compute isolation, right? And maximum scale out capabilities as we have dedicated Azure VMs.